Right now, 2 bikers complete their 1,500-mile cross-country trek to promote kidney donation. But first, Julian's tracking an alert day that's currently dumping snow on the roads. What this blast of winter weather will do to your morning commutes. And a weekend of deadly gun violence across America, with 2 states now investigating new mass shootings. That's all coming up at 10. Well, good evening and thanks for having us tonight. I'm Arman Rahman. Mother Nature did a 180. It was a cold, wet day for southern Wisconsin that started with rain, which has now turned into snow. A far cry from the summer-like temps we were feeling just 24 hours ago. Meteorologist Julian Seawright tracking that alert day and how it will impact your drive to work tomorrow. Julian?
Well, Armand, one thing's for sure, I had to find my coats, which I thought I'd put away for a while. And now I am really regretting that it's going to be winter weather to be at the report on. But folks, we are looking at snow throughout southern Wisconsin, so let's get straight into our alert day. Late season snowfall, 2 to 8 inches of what we're expecting throughout much of southern Wisconsin. For our Dane County, we're still going to be looking between that 2-inch range, even though as of right now, we're just dealing with some light snowfall here on our weather patio. But we still have a long night and Monday morning to get through, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Winter storm warnings are in effect from now until 10 a.m. for our friends to the west. For Dane County, just to the south and further, which would be for Greene County, and for the north, we are under a winter weather advisory until that same timeline. Now, outside of that, temperatures are really the big key for us to see any snow that falls for us sticking to any parts of the ground that's not just the grass or the tree branches. Now, we're looking at 33 degrees as of right now. It's still going to take some time for the ground to start to freeze. So we're really looking for the overnight to be the best opportunity for us to see any snowfall really accumulate. But wind gusts and the snow that's falling has been a real key factor in lowering our visibility. We could see some whiteout conditions for some areas, especially to the west and for the southwest, which have been dealing with some more bands of snow as we continue throughout the rest of our overnight hours. Here's a look at that snow as of right now. A bit of a break throughout much of Dane County and parts of Iowa County, but we're going to continue to see even more resurgences of this snow as we continue throughout the next few hours, especially as we get closer to around midnight. We're expecting another band of that snow to really start to pick up some of that heavy, wet snow throughout much of southern Wisconsin. So again, make sure you're giving yourself extra time tomorrow morning, because we are going to be seeing some road conditions that will be rather poor throughout much of southern Wisconsin. Quick look at our snowfall reports. Just looking around areas to the north and west, Arcadia has been one of the biggest gainers at 9 inches so far. Tomah and Boscoville at 2 inches, which are some of the lower ones. But we're still going to be watching the snow, and we'll be timing out how you could be impacted for tomorrow morning in a few moments. Until then, back to you, Marlon.
Julian, thank you. Stay up to date on the weather on our First Warn Forecast weather app. It has hourly forecasts, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. A small Alabama city is grieving after authorities say 4 people were killed and 28 suffered injuries, some critical, in a shooting last night at a teenager's birthday party. There was also a deadly weekend shooting at a park in Louisville, Kentucky. A city still mourning last week's mass shooting at a bank. CBS's Christian Benavides reports from Miami.
Dadeville, Alabama is a community mourning after gun violence broke out at a 16th birthday party. Residents and some survivors of the shooting gathered for a vigil Sunday night. Witnesses say teenagers are among the dead and injured.
I got shot right here, and right here.
Investigators are collecting evidence at the Mahogany Masterpiece Dance Studio, where the party was held Saturday night.
We're going through in a very methodical way. We're going to do exactly what we need to do to ensure justice is brought to bear for those families.
Antoine Woody says he knows 2 of the victims, including his best friend.
We loved each other, and I just hate that it had to happen to him like that.
Authorities are urging the public to come forward with any information about the shooting.
I cannot stress this enough. Ever how minor you think it is, we absolutely need you to share it.
The mayor of the city northeast of Montgomery, with a population of about 3,200, says the tragedy came as a shock.
We never had anything like this happen here in my whole 73 years.
This weekend also saw deadly gun violence at a crowded park in Louisville, Kentucky, where 2 men were killed and 4 other people wounded. It follows Monday's mass shooting at a downtown bank.
5 days later, we're at another scene of a reckless act of gun violence.
A new CBS News poll shows roughly 3 in 4 Americans believe mass shootings are preventable, and just over 60% say they want the AR-15 semi-automatic rifle banned. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
And in a statement about Saturday's gun violence, President Biden said, quote, "Once again, our nation is grieving." He cited guns as the leading killer of children in America and called it outrageous and unacceptable. And meanwhile, in Indiana, one child has died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. According to police, officers were called to a townhouse in Indianapolis on a report of a juvenile wounded by gunfire. That child was transported to the hospital in critical condition, where he was later pronounced dead. Police are investigating how the child got a hold of the gun and whether any adult was in the townhouse that should be held accountable if the gun was not secured. It happens on the final day of the NRA's annual conference in the same city. There were demonstrations across the U.S. this weekend as the Supreme Court weighs a potential decision about a key abortion medication. The drug, mifepristone, is still widely available, but that could change this week. The Supreme Court temporarily blocked a ruling by Texas federal judge suspending FDA approval of the drug until Wednesday, while justices decide if they'll consider the case. Vice President Kamala Harris made a surprise stop at a rally in Los Angeles yesterday. Meanwhile, Democratic governors of many states, like Maryland, plan to stockpile the drug in case the court restricts access.
When you attack the rights of women in America, you are attacking America.
Maryland is going to be a state where we are going to protect reproductive health and reproductive rights. Not only have I instructed our Department of Health to be able to make this decision that we are going to be stockpiling the drug for upwards of 3 years.
Last week, an appeals court paused the Texas order, but also enacted limits on mifepristone, including halting mail delivery, shortening the time frame for use, and requiring multiple doctor's visits. The drug is used for about half of the abortions in the U.S. It's never an easy conversation to have, but UW health officials say setting up a care plan in case you or a loved one are incapacitated avoids stress and saves you money. Today is National Healthcare Decisions Day. Less than half of UW's patients 65 and older have a plan in place for when tragedy strikes. But an advanced care plan can take into account past experience with hospitalizations and spiritual or cultural preferences. But experts say the hardest part is often just starting the conversation.
We don't want to talk about death. We don't want to talk about our own mortality or think about that. And we really try to do a lot of reframing with our patients and their loved ones that this is really about having a say in your care. This is about a way for you to take control over what happens with your health care.
And filling out a power of attorney is even more important because in Wisconsin, your next of kin can't automatically make healthcare decisions for you if you're incapacitated. Experts say that's totally free. Well, back in March, we introduced you to Mark and Lynn Scotch. They were about to embark on a 1,500-mile bike ride from Texas to Louisiana to promote kidney donation. They dubbed it their Oregon Trail. And now, 7.5 weeks later, they're back in Madison, where our Braden Ross caught up with them to hear about the trip.
For their latest adventure on the Oregon Trail, Mark and Lynn Scott went back to where it all started, Louisiana.
Originally, we thought he'd have to make numerous trips to Louisiana in order to donate a kidney for the man that we met there.
It was there that Mark struck up a conversation with a man in a bar who told him he was on the wait list for a kidney.
I'd never met somebody who told me face-to-face that he needed a kidney. I just assumed that everybody that needed one got one, and that's not true.
Mark told him he'd be his donor, and just a year later, he made it happen. Kind of.
My kidney went to somebody in New York, and he got a kidney from Southern California.
A few years later, Mark's wife Lynn followed in his footsteps.
My kidney went to Illinois, but my voucher recipient is a little boy in Minneapolis, 2 years old.
They both used what's called the voucher program through the National Kidney Registry. It works like this. You donate a kidney and the registry matches you with a recipient somewhere in the country. Then you get to bump someone up on the recipient list, and they're next in line when the organization finds a match for them.
It's the easiest way to donate. Takes away a lot of the barriers to donation.
Since joining the Club of Living Donors, Mark and Lynn have made it their mission to promote kidney donation.
The Oregon Trail really started when I read that 13 people die every day in the United States waiting for a kidney transplant. I just didn't know that before, and it rather stunned my wife and I. So we started these bike rides to create awareness for that fact, and also to demonstrate that a person can donate a kidney and live a normal life.
Along their rides, they've met people impacted by kidney transplants and urged more hospitals to join the voucher program.
It's heartwarming and heartbreaking, the variety of stories that you hear. We love riding up to a transplant facility and seeing the staff out there because they are in the trenches every day.
But of all the people they've encountered, there's one little boy they're still waiting to meet.
We had left on this ride prior to his surgery, so we're looking forward to that. I think it will be exciting and emotional and probably a few tears.
For News 3 Now, I'm Braden Ross.
Well, you can find out more about the voucher program and follow along with Mark and Lynn online at markscotch.com. More local news tonight. MMSD Superintendent Carlton Jenkins was named a finalist yesterday for the same position in Memphis, Tennessee. Jenkins was one of 3 finalists before the Memphis-Shelby County School Board. CBS affiliate WREG reports that the previous superintendent there stepped down after allegations of violating policy. The county board reportedly was not satisfied with Jenkins or the other 2 finalists and asked for the names of all 34 applicants. The district has temporarily paused its search. Jenkins announced in February that he'd be retiring from the Madison School District, citing a desire to spend more time with family. His time as MMSD superintendent is set to end in July. Turning to sports, it's the 3rd time in 4 years the Bucks are facing the Heat in the postseason. These teams met earlier tonight in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Jordan Reed joins us now, and Jordan, less than an ideal start for the Bucks.
Yeah, exactly. Between a 13-point loss and losing your best player in the first half, it was a rough outing for the Bucks. Right now, we're going to talk about Giannis's injury that sidelined him most of the game. Late first quarter, Giannis trying to take it to the cup, but ends up taking a hard fall on his lower back. He headed to the locker room, returned for a little bit in the second quarter, but didn't remain in. He checks out, and that's when the team ruled him out with a lower back contusion. Here's an update from Coach Bud following the game.
There was x-ray that was clear here, so we'll monitor him, see how he does, see how he wakes up, how he feels the rest of tonight, tomorrow.
We don't want him to be hurt, but it's still next man up mentality. We have enough talent on this team to cover for him until he comes back or possibly comes back. So, again, I just don't want to see him hurt because I know what hurt it feels like, and especially game 1 of the playoffs.
And coming up in just a few minutes, I will have a breakdown of the game where we will also hear from the team again on this loss.
Thanks, Jordan. Still to come tonight, the UW-Madison community comes together to learn about the environment and promote sustainability for Earth Week. And more on the winter storm from Julian later on News 3 Now at 10.
Habush attorneys are the best of what a personal injury attorney is about.
To get the most money for your case, you need to have a law firm that's unrelenting.
We will fight with all that we have in person power, in knowledge and experience to bring about the result they deserve.
I can't give them their life back how it was, but I can give them the financial compensation to get their life back on track.
In every corner of Wisconsin, you'll find Wisconsin lottery winners. Some live in the city, others out in the country. Some play in their lucky socks, others wear their favorite hat. But one thing's for sure, last year, tens of thousands of players won across the state. In fact, Wisconsin Lottery awards over $1.5 million in prizes every day. That's a lot of winners you'll find in Wisconsin.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
This is how legends are made. Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or current Chevy owners get $3,750 total cash allowance on all 2023 Silverado pickups with a turbo high output engine. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Floor & Decor, my go-to to get it all. Tile, wood, stone, and laminate, they've got it. Installation materials, yep, and all the tools I need, they've got those too. More importantly, they've got my back with benefits and services I actually want, and a pro app that makes my job easier. Floor & Decor just gets it. That means I get more done.
At Floor & Decor, whether you're looking for everyday low pricing on in-stock job lot quantities and installation materials, or a powerful partner to help take your business to the next level, we've got you covered. Discover Floor & Decor today.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, we're celebrating strong women.
You look good in gold.
Do I?
I love that term, queen.
You are the definition. Plus, what are your mama's most savage sayings?
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
In Sauk County tonight, SSM Health is hoping a film about understanding trauma can help others work through the struggles in their life. Today was the first of 2 free community screenings of the film The Wisdom of Trauma at the UW-Platteville-Baraboo campus. The film features a journey with a man who has dedicated his life to understanding the connection between illness, addiction, trauma, and society. Organizers hope audiences of all ages will walk away understanding where any trauma in their life comes from and its impacts.
How deep trauma goes. I don't think people really realize like how it can affect us and how deeply it goes just within our psyches. So I think it'll be really shocking for people just to hear some of that information. I think it will make people reflect on the experiences that they've had in their lives.
Wisdom of Trauma has been seen by over 6 million people from 230 countries. There will be another showing on the UW-Platteville-Baraboo campus this Wednesday at 6 p.m. And from a campus-wide cleanup to a sustainable cooking competition, this upcoming week at UW-Madison is all about caring for the planet. UW-Madison's 6th annual Earth Week will feature over 20 nature-centered events hosted by the Office of Sustainability. The free week of events brings together campus and community partners to learn about the environment and promote a sustainable lifestyle. But those who work in the Office of Sustainability say collaborating with students to plan these activities is one of the best parts of the program.
They bring a ton of energy, they bring some really wonderful ideas, a lot of enthusiasm, and they're just really great people. And they do a lot of the work around organizing and planning these events and then actually running them over the course of the week.
Examples of events include an Earth Day march to the Capitol, a clothing swap, and an invasive plant removal challenge. All right, let's get a look at that Alert Day with Julian C. Wright. Julian.
We have accumulating snowfall that's going to be impacting many of us here in southern Wisconsin, if not all, by the time we get into our Monday morning. So let's get right into it. This is what we're going to be expecting over the next several hours. We're going to be looking at from 2 to 8 inches of snowfall throughout much of southern Wisconsin. Now, the biggest gainers are going to be west and north of Dane County, but even around Dane County, we could be seeing between 2 to 4, 3 to 6 inches of snowfall, but some isolated areas seeing a bit more. Now, the tricky part of this forecast is just how quickly we can see that transition from the warmer roads turning to cold enough to where we could see accumulation of snowfall by the time we get into our Monday morning commute. So let's go ahead and break some things down for us. As of right now, we have the winter storm warning in effect, which is just west of Dane County. Dane County, Greene County, and areas to the north are under a winter weather advisory for all the same timeline. That's for the rest of this evening going into tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now, watching the radar in itself, we do have a couple of dry slots just south of Madison as of right now, but you can see another band of snow starting to make its way into the northern parts of Dane County and stretching across southern areas of I-39. But to the west is where we've been seeing, and even to the northwest, La Crosse, Viroqua, Platteville, going towards Dubuque and Prairie du Chien, a bit more of that snow, which has really been impacting those areas over the last several hours. But taking a bigger view of the last 6 hours where we've seen most of that snow accumulation. Now, this is radar indicated, but you can see not a whole lot around Dane County or even areas to the east, but to the west and northwest. We've been seeing some pretty decent snowfall totals over the last 6 hours in itself. And we did show earlier into the show that we had for like areas like Arcadia that had about 9 inches of snowfall at 9 o'clock. We're going to be seeing really into the overnight hours bit more of that snowfall really start to pile on. So again, if you have to travel tomorrow morning for the morning commutes, heading to work, taking the kids to school, make sure you're paying attention to the forecast and giving yourself a bit extra time, because we are looking for those roadways to be a bit more of an issue, especially once we get into the overnight, because heavy wet snow is going to look to really be impacting, especially us here in Dane County, but areas even to the west and northwest once we get into the overnight hours. Now, from La Crosse, Viroqua, and areas to the north, they could be seeing around 9 inches or even more. A foot of snow is not out of the question for some of those areas. But for Boscobel, Lone Rock, Mineral Point, and Platteville, between the 6 to 9 inch range, especially as we get into the overnight. Again, that heavy wet snow is going to really start to take over once we get into the overnight. Between the hours 1 o'clock going into around 5 o'clock is our best opportunity for us to start to see that real snow accumulation throughout southern Wisconsin. But you can see those bands starting to fall apart between Mineral Point, but even for Platteville, around 6 a.m., we're still looking at some snow starting to linger its way throughout the rest of the eastern side of southern Wisconsin. 9 o'clock is starting to fall apart just a bit around Madison, but still dealing with some light snow showers that are going to continue around lunchtime and then start to fall apart once we get into our 5 p.m. commute. But outside of that, folks, one other thing we're going to have to watch for is those blustery winds. We're looking at gusts that could be clocking around 40 miles per hour as we get into not only the overnight for our Monday morning, but going into our Monday afternoon as well. So that could create some whiteout conditions with this heavy wet snow. So again, just make sure that you're taking it slow and being cautious for tomorrow morning. Here's a little bit of a breakdown for south central Wisconsin, 2 to 8 inches, but areas that are going to be east of Dane County, we're looking at less than 2 inches of snowfall. It's not going to be the biggest priority in terms of snow what we're going to be watching for. It's mainly going to be west or around Dane County. But slushy side roads and main roads are really going to be an issue throughout the morning process. And getting into the afternoon and evening hours, just pay attention to those winds. Now for southwest Wisconsin, again, around 6 to 9 inches of snowfall is what we're going to be looking at, potentially a foot for some areas. Arcadia, we are also still looking at already seeing 9 inches of snowfall as of right now, but again, we're going to be looking at some of that really picking up over the next few hours. Here's a look at the 10-day forecast over the next few days. We're going to be seeing improvements from Tuesday and from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 50s, some thunderstorms, and next week still having some April showers, but we just got to get through the snow.
There we go. Yeah, I got to keep careful on those roads. It's going to be a shock.
That's the one thing we got to watch for.
Thanks, Julian. And coming up in sports, we know the results, but how do they get there? Jordan has Bucks and Heat highlights next.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
At Pick and Save, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we do up to a 27-point inspection to check for things like color and scarring. Because when it comes to fresh, higher standards mean fresher produce. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
You may want to attend college,
but you have a full-time job and kids that need your full-time attention.
How can you possibly attend college?
You learn online at South University.
Earn your degree any hour, any day, from anywhere.
And the credit transfer policies also make it easier to return to college.
The convenience of taking classes where you want.
The flexibility of taking classes when you want.
So you can become who you want.
South University Online.
1-800-211-2082.
Good
Good news! This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Escape and get 0% APR financing for 66 months only at your local Ford dealer.
In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy. But it's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a long road, requiring decades of time and trillions of dollars. But what if there was a better direction on the path to zero carbon emissions? An energy source that's available right now, that's affordable, plentiful, and environmentally friendly. There is, and it's propane. Get the facts at propane.com/now.
When your door is always open, so is the fridge. At Pick and Save, however you shop, in-store, pickup, or delivery, you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards. That's a win-win-win. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
When it comes to the playoffs, anything can happen. That's why the Bucks did not underestimate this Miami squad. Yeah, they might be the 8th seed, but even Drew Holiday said it. The Heat are good and tough. And it didn't take long for them to get going in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Jimmy Butler pulls up, knocks it down for 2 of his game-high 35, and he gives the Heat a 13-point lead. Now, the Bucks start to rally in the second quarter. Holiday drains the short J, and now it's just a 1-point game. Leading the way for Milwaukee is Cash Money Middleton. He drops 33 points with 9 rebounds. But Butler and company just simply couldn't miss. They shoot almost 60% from the floor, knock down 15 triples, and the Bucks drop Game 1, 130 to 117.
So the Miami Heat, we know that they're going to withstand punches. They're going to play hard, 48 minutes, no matter who's out there on the court. So even though we felt good and got it within 3, pretty sure like each time they called a timeout or maybe they got to the free throw line and kind of slowed the game down. But again, it's Game 1, still trying to fill each other out.
You know, it's the playoffs. I mean, nothing's guaranteed. We watch film. We realize what we did well, what we need to be better at, make our adjustments. They come out here and fight.
In addition to Giannis's lower back injury, Miami's Tyler Hero broke his right hand late in the second quarter. Now, Game 2 of the series is on Wednesday night with tip-off at 8. When it comes to playing for the gold in the Women's World Championship, Team USA is no stranger to that stage. Tonight, making their 22nd straight appearance, and of course going against a familiar foe, Canada. It's the 34th meeting between these countries and the 21st time going against one another for the gold. U.S. trailing in the second when Hillary Knight is able to tie it up. But the tie doesn't last long. Canada is quick to retake that lead. Now, KK Harvey has the answer. She nets the equalizer in the third period. But here comes Captain Knight for the go-ahead. And with that shot, she makes WWC history with 100 career points. She actually finishes with a hat trick, is named player of the game as Team USA wins gold with a 6-3 win. Brewers making some moves ahead of their series finale with the Padres. Gus Varland is heading to the 15-day IL with a right hand contusion. This comes after he took a 105-mile-per-hour line drive off his hand, then his jaw. Now over to today's game, the Brew Crew strikes first. In the second inning, Brian Anderson's sac fly will bring home Garrett Mitchell for the one and only run of this game. Wade Miley absolutely dealing this afternoon. 7 innings of work with 8 strikeouts. The Crew get the 1-0 shutout, and they get the series win. Final outing of the spring for Wisconsin volleyball, and it's a win over Purdue. The Badgers get it done in 4 sets. UW finishes the spring season 2-1.
All right, thanks so much, Jordan. We'll be right back.
Get Jimmy Dean bacon, just $2.99. And center cut pork chops, 10 for just $10 at Hy-Vee. That's Jimmy Dean bacon, just $2.99. And center cut pork chops, 10 for just $10. Monday only, and only at Hy-Vee.
For over 30 years, Denver Mattress has been crafting factory direct mattresses with innovative design and unrivaled quality, improving the sleeping lives of millions of people one night at a time. And during the biggest sale of the season, save up to $800 on Purple mattress and adjustable base bundles. Plus, get a $300 free gift. Check out the Summit Firm, only $332.49, or get a Doctor's Choice Firm, now just $664.99. Plus 3 years no interest and free shipping.
Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
Alien tape is strong enough to hold this fishbowl on a moving car. Just peel and stick and make anything stay in place quick. A wooden shelf, a basket to glass, rugs to the floor, and so much more. Alien tape sticks to brick, pavers, marble, tile, plastic, even leather. Nothing works better. Alien tape secures in seconds, then twist, pull, and rinse to reuse. You're dying to try it. Here's your chance to buy it.
Call 1-800-490-1347 or go to tryalientape.com. That's 1-800-490-1347.
When you safely dispose of the unused medications in your home, you protect your whole family. But when our whole community does it, we can protect so many more. Wisconsin often leads the nation in safe drug disposal, so let's keep it up. Participate in the next Drug Take-Back Day in your community, or find a year-round safe disposal drop box near you. Get started today at doseofrealitywi.gov.
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads.
It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or current Chevy owners get $3,750 total cash allowance on all 2023 Silverado pickups with a turbo high-output engine.
Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. Yee, classic beef and cheddar hog. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
News 3 Now is always on.
Download the Channel 3000 app and we will send you local breaking news as it happens.
The Channel 3000 app. Get it now.
Powered by News 3 Now.
Get Jimmy Dean bacon, just $2.99. And center cut pork chops, 10 for just $10 at Hy-Vee. That's Jimmy Dean bacon, just $2.99. And center cut pork chops, 10 for just $10. Monday only, and only at Hy-Vee.
Join me in the 608 weekdays on News 3 Now this morning.
Weather alert day, snow, don't like it.
That's right, Armand. We are dealing with some April snow, folks, so make sure you plan ahead for tomorrow morning's commutes, because though we may not see a whole lot of snow on the ground, we could be seeing snow issues on the roadways. Deteriorated poor road conditions are going to be expected throughout our Monday morning commutes and possibly even into the afternoon once things finally start to settle in terms of the snowfall. Outside of that, at least we warm up, but more showers and storms are on the way from Wednesday to Friday of next week, and then we'll look at potentially a quiet weekend.
Be careful on those roads out there tonight. We'll see you on News 3 Now this morning.